you know, and he's his own boss. He can say and do what he wants to do, having a great team.
Yeah.
Because no one person can do it by himself. That was the core of the team.
Gotcha.
You know, and it was a tremendous sacrifice, you know, especially for me. I worked like 15 years straight, 7 days a week, 20 hours a day.
Wow.
You know, that whole middle part of my life,
Yeah.
it didn't exist. It didn't exist.
And now you have this egg on your face and things are falling apart. And now people are wondering, did you get screwed, or was it your own financial ignorance, and now you're bitter?
People taking shots at a great fighter, Mayweather. Probably the same people that were, applauding him and saying how great he was at one point, and now they're taking shots at him like they're almost, like they get pleasure out of seeing a great fall, potentially.
You're right,
fall.
but when you call yourself the money man, you do it to yourself a little bit too.
No, I can't argue with that.
Leonard Ellerbe recently gave his perspective on the claims surrounding Floyd Mayweather's reported financial troubles and the idea that he may have lost a massive fortune. He noted that, from his point of view, the situation wasn't entirely unexpected. Based on his past experience working closely with Mayweather, he observed a pattern of high-end spending that, over time, could create significant financial pressure if not carefully managed.
Stand from day one what it is that, and they know, everybody laughed at me. They laughed at me. They said, oh, you know, he just talking nonsense. I've been told all of
Ellerbe explains that once someone like Floyd Mayweather reaches the highest level of fame and success, criticism naturally becomes part of the journey. He points out that achieving success is only one side of the story. The real test lies in how a person deals with the pressure, attention, and constant public scrutiny that come with it.
Hey, when you're on top, when you're at the top, you can expect criticism. It just comes with success, and it's all about how you handle things. And me personally, none of this personal.
Leonard Ellerbe suggests that Floyd Mayweather had the potential to build a powerful and lasting business empire outside the ring. However, he believes that achieving that level of success would have required a more focused approach, along with smarter and more strategic decision-making over time.
He formed his own company,
Right.
but he was the first one that had a team surrounded by him. That our focus was the business, and his focus was the boxing. And in turn, we built the brand, built Mayweather Promotions,
Yeah.
and Floyd became his own boss.
Wow.
And that was the key.
Logan Paul mocks
Teddy Atlas notes that many of Floyd Mayweather's former fans and supporters have now shifted their stance, openly criticizing and mocking him. What was once admiration has, for some, turned into ridicule over what they perceive as his most significant setbacks.
Because he's still waiting on the 1.5 from Floyd Mayweather. He made this video simultaneously with the beef with Le'Veon, and I don't know, maybe it's coincidence, maybe it isn't.
Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao 2. The fight nobody asked for except me. I need this because if Floyd wins, he can finally pay me my $1.5 million. I don't care about the legacy fight. I don't care that these men have a combined age of 100 years. I care that Floyd Mayweather, the best boxer alive, uses those same hands that made him 100 million to Venmo me my money. And Floyd, if you're watching this, win it and pay me back, or I'm gonna send my goons after you. Gotcha. Hey.
I really don't know why I watched that. Yeah, listen, dude. Logan is, again, functionally a coward for not doing this. I was really excited for it, too. I couldn't wait. That was about to be content, stud. But, I mean, okay, yes, I understand that he is under WWE contract.
Act 100 insists that Floyd Mayweather is far from broke. He explains that Mayweather maintains true wealth through peace of mind and is largely unaffected by rumors, criticism, or other people's opinions about his life and career.
Yeah, like you said, he was Mayweather, Money Mayweather, and now he's suing because he went through his money, blew his money, whatever. Look, I don't know what the truth is fully in there. I know Steven Espinoza was named. He ran Showtime at the time. He was named him. I never was a fan of Espinoza. Again, I'm not afraid to say and not mince my words when I feel a certain way. And and I've taken I've taken arrows for it, and of course I've also taken some praise for it. That people say, hey, Teddy's gonna say what he feels. I was never a fan of him. I never thought he was a man that kept his word. I never thought he really did a great job over at Showtime. I mean, they put some good fights on because the fights were available, because the land.
Pauli Malignaggi points out that if Floyd Mayweather Jr. had kept his financial dealings private, there would likely be far less speculation about his wealth. By openly displaying his money and lifestyle, however, he drew extra attention, prompting people to scrutinize his finances more closely.
Floyd is rich at right now,
What's that?
his peace of mind. When I send him things, like I send you things when it's pertaining to you, when he gets the time, he'll call me and he say, hey, Wack, what's that? And I tell him, he said, that's nonsense. He said, well, as long as they trying to figure me out, they not gonna be able to figure out what they need to do. And he continues to move. I will say this without saying too much, that I've seen him pass on some big deals based upon business he already has on the table. But again, I've been to his home, I talk to him regular. He's my big.
A boxing analyst examines the unexpected financial challenges facing Floyd Mayweather, a fighter long known for openly flaunting his wealth. Over the years, he partnered with major figures in the industry, including Steven Espinoza and Showtime. Yet now, reports indicate that he is pursuing legal action against them for $340 million, claiming that a portion of his earnings was never properly accounted for. The analyst adds that while Al Heyman, Mayweather's longtime advisor, is not directly named in the lawsuit, the legal complications continue to mount. They also suggest that his highly extravagant lifestyle, with luxury cars, expensive jewelry, and even a private jet, likely contributed to the financial pressures he now faces.
We're seeing how much Floyd was making, right? And Floyd himself was flaunting himself like he was the guy who was making that kind of money. And for all intents and purposes, I assume he was. Everybody assumed he was, and it seemed like he thought he was, because he wasn't complaining, he was showing off, you know? This is why, as I get older, I feel like, and everybody always tells you this when you're young, like, keep your finances private, you know, and this is why I think this is a big reason why. First and foremost, you notice that if you don't keep your finances private, everybody and their mothers ask you for money constantly. And they don't ask you for
happens either way.
And they don't ask you, well, people assume you have money, but if you flaunt it, you definitely, they confirm you have money. And they don't ask you for money like you need to buy the Rolex or the Lamborghini. They'll guilt you into it. They need their mother's dying in the hospital. They need to pay for a funeral. Their kid is sick. Like, they guilt you into it, and you almost feel bad.
Luxury apartments, steep rent, and unpaid bills reportedly started to accumulate, eventually leading to legal disputes. A Miami couple, who owned the condo Floyd Mayweather was renting, claimed he fell behind on nearly $500,000 in rent. While he initially made payments, sources suggest he later stopped responding to efforts to collect the debt. Analysts note that a combination of overspending, mismanaged finances, and heavy reliance on others for money decisions may have contributed to his difficulties. They stress that fame and fortune alone do not guarantee long-term financial security, and even top athletes can face serious financial challenges if their wealth is not carefully managed.
We are going to go through in this video. Now, I've been covering boxing for double-digit years. Allow me to take you through it. A simple Google search shows Floyd Mayweather. You type in his name, you're going to see some fight photos and whatnot. But the top stories, and there's multiple stories, and we're going to take a look at some of them. But as mentioned, Business Insider is now reporting what you see on the screen, that Floyd Mayweather is being accused in lawsuits of owing millions of dollars for luxury watches, gold, and rent on palatial apartment, right? Bullet points. Floyd was sued for allegedly failing to pay rent on a luxurious duplex.
Pauli Malignaggi and Chris Algieri discuss how Floyd Mayweather, despite owning enormous sums, could still run into financial difficulties. Malignaggi notes that it's hard to imagine someone at Mayweather's level letting so much money slip away unnoticed. He points out that while everyday luxury purchases, like a Ferrari or high-end jewelry, might seem normal, the scale of Mayweather's earnings means that even small oversights can have much bigger consequences. Chris Algieri adds that during the height of Mayweather's career, losing track of the revenue from even a single fight could create significant losses. When these mistakes accumulate over multiple fights, the financial impact can become substantial, potentially leading to serious long-term consequences.
Represents the 500,000 in arrears plus late fees minus a deposit that Mayweather paid at the start of the lease and the 100,000 catch-up payment. So they deducted what he did submit when he was made aware of this, the 100K, and I guess a deposit. So the remaining balance is that. An attorney for Mayweather did not provide a comment by deadline. He has not responded to the lawsuit in court. In a separate legal matter, so we've already went over one with this luxury condo in Manhattan, right? But a separate legal matter, a Miami jeweler sued Floyd Mayweather last month, alleging the boxer owes more than $1 million for jewelry that he took. But
Paulai Malignaggi draws comparisons between Floyd Mayweather's financial challenges and historical examples, such as Mike Tyson, who also faced major setbacks due to mismanagement and people taking advantage of him. Both analysts stress that Mayweather's financial difficulties likely didn't happen overnight. Instead, they developed gradually over many years, even after he earned enormous sums. They also suggest that someone may have recently reviewed his accounts or brought potential issues to his attention. The discussion underlines an important lesson. Fame and wealth alone do not guarantee financial security, even for the most successful athletes in the sport.
I don't know, like there's guys who have a lot of money, okay? For me, I could go into a jewelry store, spend 20,000 at the time, like nothing. Like, you know what, I didn't plan on going there. I bought a Ferrari. I went to with my friend to go check out a Ferrari he was gonna buy. I went there and I'm like, I got this in my account, I could buy this right now. You know, like that, you know? And I'm not saying that's smart, what I'm saying is,
your accountant must have loved you.
yeah, really. But what I'm saying is, I got good money for that when I sold it.
I'm just
The used car market came back at the time. But anyway, what I'm saying is, it could go like that, okay? That kind of money. But bro, 340 million? That's not Ferrari, bro. That's a lot of Ferraris, a lot of houses.
But Floyd had a lot of Ferraris. And that's the thing about Floyd. Like, yes, is that way too much money? Yes, that's a crazy amount.
Boxing journalist Dan Raphael points out that Floyd Mayweather's financial challenges after his boxing career are not entirely surprising. He notes that anyone who observed Mayweather closely could have anticipated this, given how openly he displayed his wealth. Raphael emphasizes that Mayweather's lifestyle was lavish and highly visible, with private jets, luxury cars, extravagant trips, and constant public displays of money. Much of this was documented through social media, interviews, and videos, giving the world a clear view of just how large his spending truly was.
An entire fight person, more than one fight, multiple fight
at the height of your career.
$340 million. There's nights where you didn't make that much money in a night.
But we heard about stuff like this with Mike Tyson back in the day. Yeah. Big money losses, people taking advantage of him, a number of different things. Now, all that being said and done, 10 years is the point. That is the major point of all of this. Because when you look about this now, 10 years, where does this come from? It makes me think that someone's gotten in his ear. And maybe, where does this come from out of nowhere? Is he going through the books now, 10 years later? No, of course not. Someone else is. Someone else is probably telling him, hey man, this is like this, this is like that. So you
think it did happen?
I don't know. I think regardless of whether it happened or it didn't,
that's what I'm wondering.
Unless it's coming out of nowhere, unless he literally is just getting just
he's losing his mind because there's a lot of rumors about him losing money, right?
Losing money, being I don't want to say destitute, but the old saying, the mighty.
And Raphael stresses that Floyd Mayweather's spending habits made financial difficulties almost inevitable. Even someone as successful as Mayweather can see enormous earnings dwindle if expenses go unchecked and a lavish lifestyle is constantly prioritized. He notes that Mayweather was often seen traveling in style, purchasing luxury items, and maintaining a lifestyle with extremely high ongoing costs. According to Raphael, this serves as a cautionary tale for athletes and celebrities. No matter how much money one earns, living beyond sustainable limits can have serious consequences. The combination of public extravagance, high expenses, and long-term financial mismanagement helps explain why Mayweather may now be facing financial challenges, despite his record-breaking career earnings.
The fact that Floyd would encounter some financial issues post his boxing career is not in any way a surprise to me. When you see the types of things that, if you believe anything that he puts on his social media, the travel that he does, the places he goes, and the amount of entourage he has, I mean, that's like a money pit. I mean, whether you're flying on private jets or you're staying at first class hotels, or you're, buying expensive jewelry and cars and bags and you name it. I mean, it's all good when you're making those gigantic paydays and they're coming in, a couple times a year. You're making 40 million here and 25 million there, or even more, 100 million plus, when he fought the big mega fights with guys like Conor McGregor and Manny Pacquiao. But when that stops, that money doesn't.
Analyst Fannin examines Floyd Mayweather's recent legal moves, explaining that after encountering financial difficulties, he chose to take action against some of his former business partners. Despite earning over $1 billion throughout his undefeated career, Floyd claims that a substantial portion of his earnings never made it into his personal accounts. The lawsuit reportedly involves Showtime and its former president, Stephen Espinoza, who are accused of being linked to alleged financial mismanagement involving Al Haymon, Mayweather's longtime advisor. Although Al Haymon is not directly named as a defendant, Floyd appears to believe that key figures responsible for handling his finances may have contributed to the mishandling of his funds.
It's about the 340 million. It just didn't ring true to me, because Al Haymon, who is not named in the suit, but apparently is supposedly part of this problem, whatever. But I mean, I've known Al Haymon and covered Al Haymon's fighters and his business since the day he stepped in boxing in like 2002 with Vernon Forrest. And all that time, and literally in terms of the PBC, a couple hundred fighters that he's dealt with, maybe not personally, but that his team is and his company. To a fighter, you never hear anybody, even when they're retired and they're not with Al anymore, nobody talks bad about him. In fact, if you ask most fighters, they'll tell you how good to them that he has been. That type of money that they've helped him make and the person that he's paid.
The analyst explains that earnings from major fights, including those against Manny Pacquiao and Conor McGregor, were allegedly directed into accounts controlled by Al Haymon rather than going directly to Floyd Mayweather. When Floyd Mayweather and his team later requested access to financial records from Showtime, they claimed that the documents were either unavailable or could not be accessed, which raised further concerns about possible mismanagement. The analyst highlights that this situation reflects the difficulties even elite athletes face when handling extremely large amounts of money. Issues like lack of oversight, poor financial management, and heavy reliance on others can result in major financial losses. He adds that Floyd Mayweather's legal action appears to be an effort to recover money he believes was mishandled, and it also sheds light on the complicated relationships between fighters, managers, and media networks within professional boxing.
According to TMZ, let's get to the TMZ. Floyd Mayweather sues Showtime, saying, "I'm missing hundreds of millions of dollars." Floyd Mayweather Jr. says he made over $1 billion in earnings over his legendary career, but the 50-0 fighter claims all the money didn't make it to his bank account. He is now suing Showtime, claiming they played a big role in his ex-manager screwing him out of hundreds of millions of dollars. In the lawsuit, filed by Floyd in California and obtained by TMZ Sports, Mayweather says he's gunning to recover hundreds of millions of dollars in the misappropriated funds and damages resulting from long-running and elaborate financial...
WAC 100 explains that Floyd Mayweather stays calm and largely unaffected by outside opinions or social media, much of which he doesn't personally oversee. He notes that Floyd's wealth is distributed across multiple ventures, often structured through trusts, corporations, and investment groups, making his true financial situation less visible to the public. According to WAC 100, this setup helps provide long-term financial stability, even if it doesn't appear obvious from the outside. He adds that, despite speculation, Mayweather is content with his life and confident in his resources. WAC 100 also emphasizes that, for Floyd, true wealth goes beyond money. He finds fulfillment in his personal life, especially by spending quality time with his family, including his grandson, showing that happiness and stability matter just as much as financial success.
Those parties to see whether or not this is something that Floyd should have known about, or did know about, or maybe did not understand. Because it seems very, very funny that Floyd would not know that the money was getting paid to Al Haymon and not directly to him. Regardless, I don't know the outcome of that. I will talk about this though. The absolute blatant karma up in Floyd Mayweather's face for all the smack he talked about Muhammad Ali and how Muhammad Ali's name was only worth $50 million and he sold half of his name for $50 million and how he's made so much more money and that makes him all of that. Talked about how Muhammad Ali, I'm sure, or I don't know if he did, but I'd heard, talked about Floyd. Yeah, he did, because he talked about his money and how he had to sell.
That wraps up today's video. Be sure to stay tuned for more updates, insights, and behind-the-scenes stories in the next episode.